Hi, it's Kayla, and today I'm really excited about this video because I have a very special guest, my husband, Ethan.
Hey.
So you guys have been asking to have him in a video, and I have been trying to convince him to do a video with me for a very long time. I finally convinced him, but he's a little shy, so let's cut him some slack if he's not the best on-camera personality.
Thanks.
So today we're going to be talking about what our relationship is like and get Ethan's perspective on what it's like being married to a blind person. If you're new to my channel, I'm Kayla. I'm legally blind. I can see just a smidge more than shapes and shadows, and Ethan is fully sighted. So just a quick backstory on our relationship. We've been married for 2 years. We've been together for a little over 4.5 years. And I made a video a while back about my experiences dating with a disability and how we met. I will link that video below and in the card. But the short story of how we met is Ethan and my sister's husband have been friends since middle school. So my sister and her husband fixed us up. So that's, people always ask us how we met. So there you go. All right, so I have a few questions that I'm going to be asking Ethan to give this video a little bit of structure. So let's just jump into that. So what is the most normal thing about our relationship?
I think most normal thing, I feel like we do a lot that most couples do. We have our TV shows we watch at night. We go on dates. We eat dinner together. It's just the usual things that you'd expect a couple to do. We do all those. It's not that much different. I don't know. Do you have anything?
Yeah. No, I feel like all of our relationship is normal. Like 95% of it is normal. Like Ethan said, we watch TV, although we do watch it with audio description, or he describes if it doesn't have it. But, we have our shows that we watch. We go out to eat. We do a lot of normal things. He comes home from work and we tell each other about our day, and it's pretty much just regular old married couple. Nothing really special here. Well, not special, but not different.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, another normal thing is that we go on trips, like we go on vacation. We've been to Disney World a million times.
Yeah.
That's where we always go. But we've been to Italy. We went to Maui on our honeymoon.
Yep.
We've been to New York City. We've been to the beach with my family. Like, we go on trips and go places like any other normal couple. But he does kind of help guide me around, and he describes things to me. So especially like when we were in Italy and when we go to Disney and there's a lot to look at, he's kind of my eyes and describes things for me. Okay, so what is the most different thing about our relationship? What is different about our relationship?
I'd say probably the biggest differences would be just one of the biggest differences is that you don't drive. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go do something, or if I'm trying to meet you somewhere, it gets a little more complicated because you can't just hop in your car and meet me there. I'd say that, and then also help leading you around in environments.
Like guiding me.
Guiding you, yeah. And then also any type of shopping, online shopping, gift shopping.
I drive him crazy with online shopping because I'm like, oh, I need some new shoes, or I need a new phone case, or I want to look at this new Taylor Swift merch. And so he has to go and like describe to me what things look like because I can't see the pictures, and online places don't really put very good descriptions of their stuff. So he helps me look for things online and kind of often.
Yeah, lots of Disney phone cases. I've read through hundreds of pages of them. So
yeah.
I'd say those are the biggest differences that I can think of right now.
Yeah. So just to add to that, the driving thing, of course, Uber and Lyft, I use those, but it's expensive and it's just not always practical because I take it back and forth to class and, to my internship. So if, if we're meeting our family for dinner, after Ethan gets off work, he usually drives home to pick me up. And then we go instead of just meeting there because it's just not always practical or just very feasible for me to just Uber all the time because the cost adds up. So, and I can never drive him. He doesn't ever get to just chill in the car. If we're going on a road trip, we don't swap driving.
Yeah.
And then as far as guiding me, so I get a lot of people when I mention about someone guiding me, they're like, oh, you should use a cane. I do use a cane. I use it always when I'm by myself, but when I'm out with someone else, especially someone close to me like Ethan or a family member, it's just easier to hold on to their arm and have them guide me instead of using my cane. That's just what we prefer. So I'll hold his arm and he'll guide me around. And so he does have to make sure he's watching out for me and watching out for obstacles. I do use my cane, though, if we're going somewhere particularly crowded or chaotic, like the airport, I always bring it, or
Disney.
Yeah, when we go to Disney.
On trips.
Yeah, or some other place, we've been to a couple, music festivals where I bring it when there's a lot of people, just to take some of the pressure off, because it's a lot when he's trying to guide me around and there's, a million people.
Yeah. But I think right as of now, it's kind of become just part of every day. I don't really even think about leading her or guiding her when we just go out to stores or whatever. It's just kind of second nature at this point.
Yeah, it's just natural. I'll just grab his arm or hold his hand. And so, I don't know. I feel like if I was sighted, we would still hold hands anyways. So it's not really that big of a deal.
Until I mess up and you trip on something.
Rarely happens, but sometimes I will trip over something and, it's not 100%, but neither is a cane and neither is a guide dog. So yeah. He does good most of the time. Okay, so next question is, what do you think people's biggest misconception is about our relationship?
I think the biggest misconception, or what some people like to say about it, is that I am kind of your savior for being with you. I am such a nice person that
you're like a saint.
Yeah, that I'm with you because of your disability, or that I'm I don't know. They just praise for this for our relationship. And
can you believe it? He was just so kind to marry this poor little blind girl. He saved me, and just a saint for giving up his life to committing to marrying a blind girl.
Yeah, and that she would just be useless if I wasn't around. She wasn't functioning until I came and helped her do things with my assistance, which is not the case, but I think that is a misconception.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest misconception, is people think he's my caretaker, and he's not. Before we moved in together, I lived on my own for 6 years. I didn't live with my family. I didn't have a roommate or anything. Lived on my own, all by myself for 6 years, and I functioned perfectly fine. So I don't know what people think I did before he came around, because I think they do just think that he does everything for me, and I'm independent. He does help me with things, but he's definitely not my caretaker.
Yeah.
And I think also part of that is that people see us out, and I require a lot more assistance when we're out places, out in public or out at at someone else's house, if we're at someone else's house, like he'll get my drink or get my plate of food or like walk me to the couch and tell me where there's an open spot to sit. But at our own house, like he doesn't do any of that. I can get my own drink and my own food and, find my way around. Like if you saw me at my own house, you'd probably have no idea that I was blind because I function well in my own house. And so I think since people see him really taking more care of me when we're out, they think that it's always like that. And it's not.
Yeah, it's a familiar environment, so it helps. Like I know when we first met, I first came over to where you lived, it was really hard to tell that anything was different because you were so comfortable that you were just walking around and not really feeling your way around or anything, just kind of because you were so used to it.
Oh, and going back to, that people think you're a saint for marrying me, he came with his own baggage and his own issues and his own stuff. And just because he doesn't have a disability doesn't mean that every day is a walk in the park with you. No offense. Yeah. But, everyone has flaws and has their own stuff. Even though he doesn't have a disability, doesn't mean there aren't things that we've had to work on in our relationship on his end. And, there's things that I help him with. It's not just he helps me. I help him too. Like I said, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. What is the worst thing about having a blind wife? Don't worry, you're not going to offend me or hurt my feelings.
I think a lot of the things that I would consider the worst stuff is more just things that I wish you could do, I guess, while we're out and while we're like going to Italy or going to Maui, and I'm trying my best to describe things to you, but I know that, the actually seeing it would probably be more rewarding to you than me trying to cobble together the description of it. So I think that's maybe just one thing, one of the worst things, I guess, that we deal with. I think that, and I think that's one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, and I think, us having a close relationship, we're really in tune to each other's emotions, so I think he can tell that I'm sad about not being able to see something, and then that, kind of makes him sad too.
Yeah,
right?
So I'm empathizing with you.
Yeah, he does. He feels my pain and the struggles that I face. It doesn't just affect me, it affects him too.
Another thing that I would consider one of the worst things for me has to do with me being reserved and shy and my personality. So when we go out on vacation or somewhere unfamiliar and she is using her cane, a lot of people are
stare at us.
Yeah, they really they stare, and that attention can make me pretty uncomfortable, just because I prefer to be in the background and not have people looking at me. But
I think that's normal, and I think a lot of blind people, they don't like being stared at when they use their cane. I can't see them staring, so it doesn't bother me, but I think if I could see them staring, it probably would bother me. Probably not as much because I'm not quite as shy as Ethan, but he doesn't want people to be looking at us, and when I have my cane, people are just really rubbernecking, staring me down. Okay, next question is, what is the best thing about having a blind wife?
Best thing. I think one of the best things that has happened after meeting you and dating and getting married, I think, is how it's opened my eyes to a lot of the disability community and the struggles and just what you have to go through, I think, with especially helping you look for jobs and helping you just with people's perceptions of it, and then also on the flip side, getting to watch you start this channel and like kind of grow from when we first met and how you talked about it in public to now, I think has been kind of an eye-opening experience for me.
Yeah. Things are so different now from when we met a little over 4.5 years ago. I did not talk about my disability at all. Like, I didn't even tell him. My brother-in-law told him that I was visually impaired before we met, and it's not something I ever talked about or wanted to bring attention to. And, you know, within those past 4.5 years, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it and started this channel, and it's like a complete 180 from where I started. And yeah, and I think, you know, also kind of I've raised awareness with him, and and turning him into a little social justice warrior.
That's me. Lame.
I can't see when you've got food in your teeth. Oh, I know one that you like is that I'm not a backseat driver.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where we're going, or, you know, if he went the right way or something, and so he could be going completely the opposite direction and I'd have no idea.
That's true. Even though you can tell if I'm turning around a lot.
I can. So, sometimes he'll miss the turn, and I can tell when we're like turning around in a parking lot, and I'm like, "Did you miss your turn?"
Yeah, happens a lot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But it could be worse.
It definitely could be, yes.
You know, my sister rode with us to like a family gathering one time, and she was like, "Why are you going this way? Why did you turn there? Why didn't you go this? You can pull up a little more." And he did not like it.
I'm not used to it.
Yeah, and I was like, "Aren't you glad I don't do that?"
Yeah.
So is that all of the best things?
I think that's all the best things, just that have to do specifically with your visual impairment. But
yeah, because there's everything about being married to me is great.
That's right.
Just not that they're just not specifically blindness related.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a bonus question because I had someone ask me how I get my family, husband, to watch movies and TV shows that are audio described. How do I get them to watch them with me? Because they said their family, it drives them crazy. So what's your thoughts on audio description? Does it drive you crazy or?
No, I think I'm used to it. Yeah. But I think for me, I wanted you to enjoy it as much as you could, so that even if it's not my preference, especially in the beginning, it was worth it to me that you could enjoy it as much or more than just having to try to pay attention to it. I wish we would have done it sooner, I guess. But
yeah. Well, did it drive you crazy in the beginning and you just got used to it, or it didn't bother you at all?
I don't think it bothered me a lot, but I definitely got more used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he prefers it to be audio described, because if it's not, then he has to describe. So
yeah, and I'm not that great at it, and these people are paid to do it, and
yeah.
They do it at the right in between certain moments and stuff. And I'm sitting here I'm talking over details, trying to tell her something that happened 2 minutes ago, and it doesn't go well a lot of the times. But
yeah, so he'd much rather have the audio description. Also, I made a video about audio description and how blind people watch TV and movies. I will link that video. Does the voiceover on my phone, does that drive you crazy?
No. I think it used to be I couldn't understand because it was so fast, but I think I've gotten used to it now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of sighted people that don't use voiceover, if I'm around someone else, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so fast. How do you understand what it's saying?" But since he hears it all the time, he understands it just as well as I do. And so it's kind of convenient, because if I see like a funny post or like someone sends me a text message and I'm trying to tell him about it, where, you know, normal sighted people, they just read it. But if you use voiceover, I'm like trying to listen and repeat it, and it doesn't work well. So I would just like hold the phone out to him and tap it and have voiceover read it to him. and he understands, and so it's convenient. But did it drive you crazy when I first started using voiceover? Because when we first started dating, I didn't use voiceover or anything like that. That's something that's come about in the past couple of years. So he's been there for that transition. So what about when I first started using it?
I don't remember it ever really bothering me. I think it's the same thing with the audio description, that if it helped you interact with things more efficiently, then I was happy for it. So I don't remember feeling annoyed by it ever. So.
All right. Well, I guess that's everything, unless anything else that we should add or talk about.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that I finally got Ethan to come on my channel with me. And if you have any questions for Ethan or about our relationship, feel free to leave those in the comments below. And we won't see you next time, but I'll see you guys next time.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.
Yep. You look at me like you're waiting for me to say something.
Yeah,
what did I say to that?
Yeah, okay.
I don't really think I have an input on that.
We can cut those out. Oh, and another thing.
Oh!
All right. Okay. I was about to just pick it back up. Okay. Can you?
See ya.
I don't know how we're going to piece that together.
I should just leave it in.
Am I looking?
I wasn't looking at you, so I want to do. Now we'll look up. We done?
You did good.